This week on Movies and Stuff Show, we reconsider our blockbuster tournament because of Beauty and the Beast. We're going to watch Marty play with some toys. We're going to talk about what's under Gal Gadot's armpits. And then we're going to do a roundtable review of The Love Witch. Stay tuned. And welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff Show. My name is Dan, and joining me as usual, Abe and Marty.
Hey, what's up?
Good evening.
And our very special guest, I don't know if you'd call it staying up late or waking up early, Stefan.
Staying up late.
You know, when we decided to review this movie, The Love Witch, I said to Abe, I want Stefan on, so I can't wait for us to talk about that. But we got some weekly stuff to address first. There's some weekly topics, and I addressed some of these things in the teaser portion of it. We did our blockbuster tournament last week, hashtag Synergy, go watch it on this channel. And we might have underestimated, well, I definitely underestimated. Marty did not. Marty fought for this one. Beauty and the Beast. Marty thought Beauty and the Beast was going to do huge numbers. Marty's right.
Yep,
it's doing a lot of revenue.
Beauty and the Beast made $14 million yesterday
on a
Monday.
Monday, yeah.
So its total now is over. It's already the highest grossing movie of 2017 at one.
But wait, no, domestic.
Domestic,
because Logan's made over 500 million worldwide. Yeah,
but domestically, it's already made more than that, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's already the opening weekend was 174 when they adjusted it. So you're looking it's almost made 190 already. It's gonna make another 80 probably this weekend. And I saw it on Sunday. Every showing was sold out.
Like lines
in the entire area.
Lines, yeah.
Yeah, we walked out at I want to say noon show. As we're leaving, there's a line out the door of the mall. Jamil, one of our friends, tweeted out that he was saying down Atlanta there's a line around the block. I was watching it. It's not so much like, oh wow, it's a great movie, but as I'm watching it, I can hear the cash registers going off in my head because you just know this thing is going to make so much money. It's got so much repeat viewing possibilities. Children are going to love it. There were, every female age group. There were, 15-year-old, 30-year-old women who remember the cartoon, love it. There were families there. There were people dressed up as Belle. There were kids with the dolls already. This thing is not going to stop making money for a while. I mean, I can see it. It's already at what, 400 million total. It made 174 the opening weekend here, and I think it made that much worldwide. So you're already close to 400 million worldwide as it is. I can see it making $1 billion.
Stefan, rebuttal.
Stefan came. I Facebooked that we were at the movie. Stefan asked me and Jamil both why we were at it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's not because, we got to see a great movie, but it's just, it's right. It was right for a remake. Disney is on this kick of remaking live action movies. And how are you going to fault them now when they can really start printing their own money at this point with some of this success they're having? And I know I know what Stefan's going to say, and I don't disagree with him probably, but you can't argue with the success right now.
No, you can't. But I think I watched a few excerpts today from this movie, and I think it looks really uninspired. I think as a
it's a shot. It's almost shot for shot from the cartoon. They're not trying.
Yeah, it feels like an exercise.
Except for this one scene where Chip is peeping in on Belle and he's masturbating. Right?
Oh, you are.
Yeah, but that's what I said too. I can't believe the shit we gave Gus Van Sant for doing this. He was ahead of his time.
Jungle Book was almost the same thing as well. So Disney's they're not trying anything new with these things. But it's also, Beauty and the Beast is the cartoon was 30 years ago? Pretty much? 25 maybe?
91, I think.
91. So, yeah. Yes. Things have been remade in less time, and you got a whole new generation of children who aren't used to seeing the cartoons made that way, so they're used to seeing This, Emma Watson's going to be their Belle. Emma Watson's going to own a second generation of children now after all of her Harry Potter success, so she can just do whatever she wants the rest of her career. And it's not. It's some parts of it are just odd looking. Just the live action part of the clock, the clocks and whatever, and the chin, all that coming to life. Some of it felt kind of Pee Wee Herman like. Some of it was also like those made for TV musicals they've been doing lately. It seemed like that kind of low rent stuff in the beginning of the movie, but it picks up pretty well. It's it's got the score, it's got all the songs, it's got some new songs thrown in. Josh Gad's really good as LaFouf. Kevin Kline, they got as the father, he's really good. They got good actors playing all these roles, and it's just I never it's hard other than like a Star Wars type thing, walking out of a movie knowing that everybody you just watched this movie loved it so much. You just got that feeling as I left the theater, and it's like, wow, this is gonna just make. They were projecting it would make like 125 or something. It made 180. I mean, it's insane to think about it, but it's gonna be another $1 billion movie, and they're gonna make now. You'll see the Aladdin live action. You'll see the Mermaid live action. They'll probably find a way to make Beauty and the Beast 2 somehow, just because. How do you not make money? And you're going to look at these movies, and it's all going to be Disney top 10, all-time movies. It's going to be Avatars and Disney movies.
No. We'll never see another Avatar again. I'm convinced of it. Avatar. I think it's like the biggest con job ever. Avatar 2 and 3, 4. I think it's just fucking with us. It's not going to happen.
I'm not sure who cares anymore. But,
yeah. But I underestimated this film. I really did. Again, #Synergy. Go back and watch last week's episode. I was not very high up on this film. I did not think it was going to do that well. And many times on this show, I have to admit that I'm wrong. And here's just another one.
We had it losing in our bracket to Guardians, which I still think will be close, but I don't know if Guardians going to make 180, 190 open a weekend when it comes out, but we'll see. But I think this will have the more lasting effect as far as what it does now for Disney, as far as making every other movie they want to make now, justifying it with this thing.
I still think we have to tip our hat to Logan, though, of what it's done worldwide. I mean, it's a rated R film. It wasn't expected to really make this much money, and the fact that it's made $500 million worldwide already is it's funny. Impressive.
Box Office Mojo, it's a fun site. They compare movies and stuff like that, and they compared it to Deadpool, and you just forget how much money Deadpool made.
Deadpool made so much money.
Like they compare it, 17 days versus whatever, and it's like Deadpool made over $100 million more domestically in this movie, and that didn't have nearly the power of the character or the actor. It just so that's. I mean, Logan, of course, still a success, but I don't. I think it made 20 or something million this week, which is pretty solid for a third week.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Beauty and the Beast plays out. Is it, Abe, you have anything on Beauty and the Beast?
No, I just hear the sound of taps being played over cinema right now.
No, but I have to admit, I did watch the French version that was from 2014, which was pretty crappy too, because I was expecting some kind of more subversive take, because it was by the guy Christophe Gans, who made Brotherhood of Wolves.
Right.
But it was pretty much a straightforward CGI spectacle. But there are two things. It didn't have songs, and it had Léa Seydoux as the beauty. So at least it didn't have a misleading title.
Oh man, I did see...
The opinions expressed on the show are not the opinions expressed by the entire cast of this show.
Yeah, not the entire cast. I did listen to some of the songs too. Auto-tune. They're just clearly auto-tuned, these songs.
Yeah, some of them. Josh Gad he's been singing in theater, so his songs are pretty good.
But Emma, come on, she doesn't have a strong voice to begin with.
No, and they didn't go nuts with her. They didn't try to match her, the octave level with the cartoon version, but it was respect. It was the theater level performance, I would say.
Yeah, I actually got to see Josh Gad in Book of Mormon.
Yeah,
the opening when it first came out, and he's this is going to be his career. He was Olaf.
Yeah.
And Frozen.
There was some controversy.
He's making a lot of money off of this.
his character is, they play up the gay aspects of his character a lot, so I can see why there was some controversy with that. But he still was he was good in the role.
So is Josh Gad the new Jack Black? Is that it? Is Jack Black out? Josh Gad in?
No, I think Gad will get better roles than Black. I don't know.
He is Disney's Jack Black, probably.
Yeah.
So we've been challenged. Well, first off, in the chat, M Vance 15 says sound hot, and I don't know if that was in reply to me talking about Chip masturbating.
Yes, it was.
Probably. Robert Maley says, I think for every shitty money-making scheme of a movie that comes out, you guys should suggest a lesser-known, high-quality film to make up for the depressing state of things. So maybe we'll often do that.
Well, Stefan did recommend Beauty and the Beast, the French version, right?
French version?
No, he did not.
Well,
he said
he talked about it.
Well, I'm looking at pictures.
That's evil.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of Belle, and yeah.
Okay, moving on. Topic 2. Marty's got some toys to play with. What do we got? Marty's going to reenact some cartoons. I guess we found out the fate of Darth Maul. I thought he died. But apparently he's lived on in this canon show.
He had already lived on for a while. He lived on in the Clone Wars cartoons. So he had a whole series, a whole arc of seasons in that one. And they finally brought him back last season to Rebels. And then this week, or this last Saturday, he finally finds Kenobi in the desert. And Kenobi kills him in like 3 seconds. And so it's pretty funny. So, but he had a really fun, for Star Wars fans. Even if you didn't watch any of these episodes, you could probably watch that episode and know, just because it's centered on those two, and it's kind of detached from the actual cartoon itself. But it's a nice little ending for Maul, who's had a much better arc and much better story told in the cartoons that he had in Phantom Menace, where he was just kind of the cool-looking guy in Phantom Menace. And we didn't know a lot about him.
That's still my biggest issue, man, is the fact that they realized the error of Lucas's mistake, is that they put in this bad guy, and who should have survived the 3-episode prequel. Like, he should have been the bad guy throughout that prequel. To bring in Dooku, that was just pointless. Pointless to have the Dooku character, and it throws off the whole logic of the whole master and apprentice thing too. I think it vindicates Maul in a way. It gives him a little bit more, substance to a character that really should have had more substance in this universe. But I look at it as just kind of stupid. Like, I really do.
I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't matter to anybody that doesn't care about Star Wars as a whole. If you just watch the movies and enjoy that, it doesn't matter. But if you for everybody who reads books and watches the cartoons, it was a fun story to be told. But again, there are people that still think that stuff from this cartoon is going to impact the larger stories going forward. I really don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to impact. I think we've already seen some kind of crossover.
There's minor crossovers, but there are people saying that a character in this cartoon is going to be the Benicio del Toro character in The Last Jedi, which I just don't believe is true.
Well, they're bringing Saul Guerrero, right? Saul Guerrero.
He was in the cartoon. He was already in the cartoon, but not a major character.
Yeah.
So they'll do slight things, but they're never going to make it so that you have to go back and watch the stuff to understand what's going on.
So I guess my bigger question is, and I'll pose this one to Stefan. Does stuff like this bother you when you have to watch things outside of movies to kind of tie things together? Like that was one of my big gripes about what Marvel was doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and having some items. Do you find that annoying that you have to watch the supplemental materials to fill in gaps that you might not get in movies?
Actually, yes. I don't have a problem with it if it isn't essential for the movie, for the understanding, just as a bonus. But if you have to watch the material to understand the movie, I think that reeks of bad uneconomical writing and laziness or money making. It's reminds me a little of those add-ons you have to buy for video games. recently.
Yeah.
I think that's worse. That's definitely worse. Where it's like you can't. That's why I've stopped playing video games the last couple of years. But you can't even. You buy a video game. It's like, oh, if you want to, even like a sports thing, or like if you buy wrestling games, like, oh, if you want to get these wrestlers, it's extra this. Or if you want to get this thing, it's extra this. Like that's kind of bullshit. This is ripping off their hardcore fans. I'm not gonna lie about that, and I buy into it. So
literally, you buy into it. You have
it's definitely
hashtag props. He's got toy props for this segment.
We'll buy books and buy the cartoons and buy the stuff, knowing that so they sucker us in with that. But
with the movies,
you guys don't have to watch this show or read any books to know what's going on in the next movie.
Yeah, the problem is, do you know with the movies? Do you know, is this all planned, or is this just they make this movie, they see the complaints on the internet by the fans, and they think, oh, we have to explain this and that. Let's shove a comic book in here and there.
I always felt that was the case with a lot of things in pop culture, like Lost. I always felt that, and we actually hashtag synergy when we talked to David Knopf about Deadwood, about Carnival. That was one of the first instances of the message boards that really they interacted with the fans of the show, that they took an interest in interacting with it. And I felt that as a result of that, and as a result of people, they are cognizant of what the fans are saying. And I do think that there's pressure to like try to explain something with a book or a TV show or something like that. And it's kind of bullshit. It's like, just whatever. It's you don't have to explain everything.
Yeah, there have been some stories this week that I've read that say that this scene, because in this scene, it's only 2 years at the most away from New Hope. And Obi-Wan is very capable of fighting at his normal self that we've seen from movies. Right. So to say that in 2 years, he's kind of just this prodding, can't really fight.
Well,
Darth
within
Vader
15 minutes, Darth Vader went from being able to do like backflips and ninja stuff to like, I'm too old for this crap. So 15 minutes of letting the rebels escape.
So this is kind of they're trying to explain that this is Obi-Wan giving up in that fight, basically knowing that he could still fight if he had to, but knowing that his job is done as far as guarding Luke this whole time, and knowing he can be more powerful going forward. Because spoiler, I guess here, Obi-Wan kills Maul pretty quickly. And then he kind of just holds him in, he kind of holds him in his arms as he dies. And it's this kind of moment where it's, are you protecting the real chosen one now? And Obi-Wan says yes. And Maul's like, good, he'll get our revenge. So that's kind of the idea that the Jedi always have a plan going, stuff like that. And that's not Star Wars saying that, that's just theories that people throwing out there. So, like I said, it's fun for Star Wars fans. I know how you guys don't get it. But I will say, I didn't suggest this topic, Dan.
No, I did. Well, no, I honestly, I did find it interesting, and I don't watch the show. I read about the scene, and it actually.
You can see it. They show the whole scene on YouTube.
Yeah, I thought in the scheme of things, it sounded cool. I'm not gonna go start watching the show. I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan, but I'll go see the movies. I don't feel the need for the supplemental stuff. And I do have something to say though, is to Dee's point, saying when you have to read or you have to do extracurricular activity to catch up with the films, it is super annoying. And I can't say that that's the case with Star Wars. I do think that they are standalone films, but from what I understand from Rogue One, that the book really does.
There was stuff in there
explain things that the movie kind of glossed over or were kind of like hanging threads that if you read the book is like, oh, well, that wouldn't have been a question. So
the book tells you a lot more about the Krennic and characters and stuff like that. That whole first scene of Rogue One, I don't understand how people would even know what the fuck was going on there if you hadn't read the book. And having read the book, I was like, really? That's how after I just read this book? I think the book was probably would have been a better movie than what they produced. And then also there was a bunch of Rogue One stuff this week because I guess the DVD's coming out next week.
Yeah.
So all the stories about what was supposed to happen really were coming out, and there's a whole series where the people,
Reshoot one.
Yeah, the
Reshoot
characters.
one.
They're saying though there's not going to be any deleted scenes, and a lot of the things that were going to happen they didn't actually even shoot.
Yeah, it really pisses me off. I'd want to see this dark, gritty movie that you can tell is kind of hidden in there somewhere, and I want to see
actually,
the original movie.
The original, though, they were saying most of the characters don't die, so they actually made it somewhat darker in the theatrical.
Can I say something there? They promised some kind of gray movie with gray zones, moral zones, and which the movie wasn't. And maybe this is controversial. I'm actually rather happy about it. I don't think this whole gray area stuff works for Star Wars. Actually, I think that was one of the better decisions they made.
Yeah, and then apparently the Vader thing was not written by the initial writer. That was thrown in at the end.
Oh well,
you could
feel like it.
Terrible. Yeah. I think
really
everything.
He was gonna kill other people other ways, but that they scrapped that for that scene. Which there are Star Wars fans that I respect that I watch shows or whatever on to say that's a top 5 Star Wars scene of all time. I mean, it's cool to watch, but
I'm not going to argue that it's not a great scene. It just doesn't belong in this goddamn movie.
It doesn't belong. Yeah.
That's the part. That's the problem that I'm having is you take this and you put it, I don't know, in episode 3 or what? Like,
that should have been episode 3.
It fits. It fits for that, but it doesn't fit for this movie. It doesn't fit for the lead up to New Hope. So I mean, it's a great scene. I enjoyed it from just a kind of geeky fan perspective, but it just didn't fit in this movie.
Can we just say it? Star Wars the movies is one long continuous foul tip. It's one long continuous mistake. It's one long continuous almost there but never quite. Return of the Jedi was a whimper. The prequel trilogy was garbage. And these new movies are close, but they're never quite there. Star Wars is just one long, continuous misstep.
That's nonsense. It's complete nonsense.
What are you talking about? Two legitimate good movies out of 8?
Yeah, 2, but it's not one long, continuous mistake. I don't know. And Return of the Jedi. Excuse me.
You would have been ripping it in '82 for being a remake of Episode 4.
No. I don't know.
I mean, I was only 2 months at the time.
Right.
I would have liked.
No, I think this is a long discussion. I don't want to get into this.
Okay, all right, let's go to the chat real quick though.
Yeah. And tell Melee if he rips on Star Wars again, I'm probably not going to go.
Kim is saying, "Woo! I got the YouTube notification. The show beginning just now." And Abe, you're saying Google is on it. Is there apparently a known issue?
No, it's
of notifications.
Certain people seem to have it at certain times. Every channel goes through this at some point or another. Make sure you're clicking on that little bell next to the subscribe button. Everybody, there's a little bell on your screen next to subscribe. Click that bell, and it'll help get your notifications faster.
Or just remember every Tuesday at 9.
Well, last week it was like 9:08.
Oh, we had some problems last week. We were pretty good so far this week.
He's asking if he missed anything, and yes, Stefan took his top off, so you missed that.
Yes.
Here you go, Marty. This is Melee. Disney's a money-making machine that will devour everything we know until we're left in a lightless abyss of recycled false creativity. That's all you missed, Kim. So, speaking of that, let's not talk about Disney. We got a few minutes before we'll start talking about the Love Witch. That I want to talk about a controversy of DC, because DC is just filled with controversy. They can't seem to get anything right, and they had a huge mistake that they did this past week. Well, I guess more than this past week. This trailer brought it to light, but the Wonder Woman trailer, my God, did everyone see that she didn't have armpit hair? It's an abomination. It's an abomination.
I mean, of course, you look at the story and you do laugh, and it's because it's stupid. But I've made this point about other movies in the past where it's like it doesn't make sense. Like I remember watching Django Unchained, and thinking, why would Jamie Foxx have perfect white teeth in this movie? So I could see why people are poking fun at stupid shit like this, but again, it's a movie, and you gotta kind of just get over it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sad because they really took a lot of care of historical accuracy. Otherwise, I mean, they had the outfit down from the tiara to the miniskirt to the
World War I
typical leather boots the Greeks were wearing.
I hope the people that brought this up were tongue in cheek with it. I don't know.
I can't believe this was a story. I honestly, I can't believe it's a story. First off, I saw a lot of people commenting. It's like, oh, well, I'm glad that Thor has all this like flowing armpit hair.
Right.
Thor, who's a god from another planet, is shaved armpits. He's fine.
Can I bring up a Star Wars thing real quick again?
That's Achilles too.
The last Star Wars Rebels cartoon before this one we just talked about, there was a point where someone goes to the bathroom, and it was just the funniest thing because that never happens in any of these movies. Never happens. No.
It's such a Spaceballs.
It was Wedge Antilles, as a young Wedge Antilles went to the urinal, and suddenly like a droid comes in and bothers him. It's like, it was just the funny. It's like you never seen anyone go to the bathroom before in these movies.
That's awesome.
So we need more of that. We need more of that. We need more of Wonder Woman going to the bathroom.
Yeah, you wouldn't think they would stop to shave their armpits or cut their, do whatever. But it's like,
I mean,
she's got to suspend disbelief on some of this shit.
She flies an invisible jet. Maybe the armpit hair is just invisible armpit hair. I mean,
like I said, I hope that this was a tongue-in-cheek controversy, but
I hope so too. But you never know people nowadays.
It does take you out of movies sometimes when it's like an 1890s movie, but the guy's got perfect teeth or they look great or something. So it's like I could see where people complain about shit like that, but that's just the overly nitpicky world we live in these days.
Yeah, they should have given her long, flowing armpit hair and the Austin Powers teeth, and then everyone would have been happy that she's from the Amazon.
And that would have done well, I think.
I think so.
Maybe people confused that she was Greek, not French.
Again, the opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the opinions of the movies and stuff.
But I mean, even the ancient
just public cliches. Yeah.
But even the ancient Romans had stuff to remove body hair. I mean, they were doing that, especially royalty and rich people. You could find factual basis for this kind of stuff. It just seems so ridiculous to get bent out of shape about this.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Grease looked like Xena, as it did in the trailer.
No, you're right.
Yeah. I don't think this bit of accuracy maybe would have stood out, maybe negatively, a little.
Did you guys see the other DC stuff this week? Which, again, just puts more pressure on this fucking Wonder Woman movie. They're trying to they want to put out another movie next year because Batman isn't happening anymore.
God damn.
And they just don't have a plan. They just it's one of 5 other movies they might rush through. Like Suicide Squad 2 is a possibility, which no one's clamoring for right now.
For it. I mean, they're talking rated R for that.
Yeah, the Green Hornet, Green Hornet,
Green Lantern,
Squad or whatever. Or a couple other options. So again, they're just rushing shit together. And
this is the mistake of listening to fans.
Yes, it is the mistake of listening to fans.
Right.
They had Joe Manganiello came out. He was supposedly locked in for the Batman movie. He's like, I don't know anymore.
Jesus Christ.
And I can say it now, Justice League is probably going to be awful. Just because how couldn't it be at this point? So if Wonder Woman's not good, they just might blow this fucking thing up. Because why not?
Yeah, it's... We'll see. I mean, I'm assuming it's on its last legs. I don't think this rendition of the DC universe is going to last much longer. I think they're going to have to kind of.
You never know. I don't think so. You can never know. Look at the X-Men movies. I think
but they don't have the pressure on them. I don't think that these do.
Yeah, but they went on. I think half of the X-Men movies are unwatchable.
Yeah, but they don't care. They don't expect to make $1 billion with those movies, so they can just kind of shake those off and keep going. Whereas the fact that BVS didn't make $1 billion is kind of a failure, even though it made 800 million.
Yeah, maybe so just readjusting the expectations.
Yeah, but I mean, it's when you got movies slated for December and May next year, and they're supposed to own the summer with Wonder Woman. If they don't, they're supposed to have a. I don't know what happened to the Flash movie. That's not coming out. The Aquaman, which should have been coming out, after this. If that's not ready either, apparently, it's like you're going to introduce a Justice League movie and then not have any movies ready for the characters in it.
I don't think that's
but Suicide Squad 2 with Mel Gibson. Let's get that going.
I don't think it's an issue. You don't need for every. I don't. You don't have to copy the Marvel the Marvel formula. Why do you need
you don't need to copy the
an
Marvel
origin
formula.
movie? Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Right.
The issue is they're going to hurt their own brand one way or the other. They're going to hurt their own brand by not being able to execute the plan that they outlined, or they're going to hurt their brand by saying, we want to put out a movie to compete with Marvel, so we're just going to rush and put out crap. So they're in this lose-lose situation. I kind of feel that they're better off just sitting and waiting, because the characters aren't going anywhere. The characters are big-name characters. If you miss a year of putting out a movie, take the hit of saying the plan was flawed. Take that hit as opposed to rushing out something that the people are going to hate.
Right.
I understand they're in this tight situation, but that's the play they have to do. Take the hit on their plan being bad.
They have no other franchise really either to lean on, because Harry Potter's done. I don't know if this new Harry Potter, it's Fantastic Beasts was a decent movie, but it didn't make crazy money, so I don't know how much they can build off that one. All their superhero shit's failing. Fox is now beating them as far as they're making the cooler ones too. Like they're not even making the cooler ones. They can't make the money as much as Marvel. They're not making any kind of artistic fun shit like Fox is doing. So it's like they just got these great characters that they're stuck with that they can't do anything with.
I'm with Dan though. Sit on it for a little while. Just get this out of your system. Sit on it for a while. Come back with a plan. Hell, do a crisis if you have to. Kill all these actors off and bring in new ones. Do a crisis, and then I don't know, figure it out. But come up with a plan. Be the rock and roll version of the comic books. Have fun. Don't be the corporate side like Disney. Just go nuts. Hire directors. Let them make a crazy movie if they want to.
Well, if Mel Gibson does get hired, then that would be the sign that they're doing that. Because I don't know how Mel Gibson, if you hire him and not just let him go do it, because he's not gonna
roll over for you. No.
Yeah, he's not gonna follow some kind of canon shit.
Right. And Zack Snyder, if you're out there, man, take your argument public. Don't let them butcher any more of your fucking movies, man.
Yeah.
Get your extended cut in the theater.
There hasn't been much talk of Justice League reshoots, so maybe that's somewhat better. I think they did reshoot some stuff to add in the Green Lantern. So if maybe they're trying to get lightning in a bottle with that character, then maybe you want to see a Green Lantern movie.
Maybe so.
Yeah. But I think if you look at it, maybe financially it's not as successful. But I mean, artistically, we have 3 movies in. 2 have been good, in my opinion. 1 has been bad. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the beginning of the Marvel movies, it's like Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor, were those good movies?
Yeah, but even Iron Man 2 wasn't even that good.
Iron Man 2
it wasn't that good, yeah.
That was the second one.
So
actually.
Star Wars from a quality standpoint. I like Iron Man 2 as well, but it's a jumbled movie as well. It's a bit of a messy movie as well, and I think they were off to a rocky start too. Actually, quality-wise, not financially, but
I'm thinking if DC wants to rush a movie, and they want to go the rated R route, they should do Lobo.
They should.
I think you could rush out a Lobo movie. I think you can push it out, make it rated R, and it doesn't have to tie into the whole DCEU, but at least it'll keep DC relevant for a year, and people will go see it because it'll be the rated R film. Because when does Deadpool come out? Deadpool is slated to come out.
I would assume next year, but that's another one where they don't really have anything
set. But I think they're saying early 2018 for that.
Yeah.
There you go. Deadpool has nothing going for it right now. You can push out a Lobo movie and try to steal its thunder. Like, if they're going to do anything for next year, take something that's not tied into the bigger storyline, that's not going to impact anything.
They're talking
and
that
just
whole
have fun.
Gotham Knight, like the female villain movie too.
No, but that's still tied into things because you're already introducing these characters. That I'm saying, just go rogue, just do a character that isn't going to have to tie into the bigger storyline and have fun and show them something violent. I mean, I would love to have Zack Snyder do a Lobo film and just go full crazy, balls to the walls, rated R insanity that we know that Snyder can do. Right.
If Justice League isn't receivable, I think Snyder's done.
No. I think so too. But I think Lobo is one of those, and Robert May is saying is take a gamble on Lobo. I think it's one of those things that could really work. We have talked 36 minutes of stuff that leaves us roughly 25 minutes left to talk about The Love Witch. So I believe
look at that switch. Good job,
Abe. Are you going to do the trailer and have Marty talk over the trailer?
I think Marty should talk over the trailer. Marty, tell us what The Love Witch is all about.
Go ahead.
All right.
Here's a synopsis.
I gotta watch it here. Yeah, so I'd never heard of that thing. So you turn this on and you figure it's a movie made from 1970 or something, but it actually came out last week. You watch her and you think it's set in the 1960s maybe, but later on they got cell phones and shit, so it's current day somehow. This promote's pretty crazy. Like, again, they got these old setting houses and shit, so you figure, I'm watching some kind of period piece, but they really never tell you what the period is. This woman falls in and out of an English accent throughout the movie. They wear funny hats a lot. It's about witches. I don't know if you got that from the title. So she kind of keeps setting up guys with these potions. Not sure what that scene was. Feeding the birds. This guy was a complete fucking pussy. He had sex once and he's crying in the bed. She killed him within like a half hour.
Kind of looks like Lapidus from Lost.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Sorry. Like that was a funny scene where like she met him. It's like, oh, you want to go to my cabin? Like, yeah. Like, all right. She got tricked by a Technicolor Dreamcoat. And then it's not a lot of gratuitous sex in the movie, but there is some nudity. There you go.
There you go.
She's got long hair, which cover the boobs a lot, which was distracting. They can see him; he's already crying. They had sex once; he's crying. Then she smokes a lot, which is funny. You don't see that in movies much anymore. Smoking. So they give away a trailer. Yeah, look at that. They gave away a trailer. He's dead. So I didn't fucking give anything away.
I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm just really.
She buried him with a tampon or something.
And pee, a jar of pee.
Then she fucked her friend's husband.
That was
he started
semi-British woman.
Yeah, he started crying and killed himself. They give away a lot in this trailer. I don't think
they do. Yeah.
That woman couldn't really dance. This is a weird thing. Her wig was the exact length and color of her actual hair. So I'm unsure why.
Yeah, why would you have a wig?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me.
That's the 70s. That's the 70s
yes.
thing. But then the woman had a cell phone, so I don't know what in this movie was. They wanted to burn the witch in the bar somehow, and then like this guy arrested her. He's like the worst cop ever. And then he arrested her, but took him back to her place for some reason to get killed. And then the movie ended.
Yeah, so. That was a very 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 I didn't watch the trailer for this, but
that was the entire movie.
Spoiler trailer.
That was the movie in that trailer. There's nothing left.
I mean, that's it. This closes out another episode of Movie Stuff Show.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, all right.
I can't believe that. So I didn't watch that trailer actually.
Yeah, I never
that
watched
it. That was actually in chronological
order. That was a very good synopsis of the film, and maybe we got to do this more often because I think it worked really well of doing a synopsis. Now, I want to talk about the film because we have a show that we need to stretch out for minutes or so.
This came out last week. On what platform you said?
It's video on demand. It's on Amazon, iTunes, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's video on demand. I think there are a lot of great elements to this film, and it just it was way too long.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours.
It's 2 hours. It should not have been 2 hours. The first 15 minutes, I think, were pretty glorious. I think I loved the aesthetic to it. I think the look of the film, the music was really, really cool. I really felt that it was doing a really solid homage to these pulpy kind of books and films that it's trying to base itself off of, but then it just had no plot and nothing that really nothing of interest. Like the first 15 minutes were really cool, and then it was another, I'd say, hour and 15 minutes until I was like, oh, this movie's picking up and actually something going on. I was actually messaging Abe as I was watching it. I was like, there's actually some good elements of this third act, and then that crapped the bed at the very, very end. There's 30 minutes of solid film in this 2-hour movie. I'm just saying it should have been a 30-minute, like, kind of short to demonstrate that this guy could actually make some kind of film. Or was it a woman? It was a woman, right? Yeah. So a woman can make some kind of film, and then try to take this 30-minute short and try to do something completely different, because this wasn't a 2-hour movie here.
There were like entire scenes of like just musical, like where you like I'd stop watching for a while. I was like, well, we're still in this fucking scene. It was like 5 minutes later where it's like just they're prancing around in the forest, so they're doing some kind of ritual thing that didn't really tie into anything else.
Oh, Gorquill Nacho Vidal says, when you have a love witch, you don't need a plot. So,
that's what I thought too.
Abe, what do you think?
Man, individually, I think I love almost all the parts of this movie individually. But when you put them together as a whole, it does not work for me. It just didn't work at all. I think you're right. I think the acting for what they wanted to do was top notch.
I think the acting was really great
for what they're trying to do. Yeah,
for what they were trying to do. I thought
bad
it
was,
right.
But they were doing bad acting on purpose, and I think their acting,
porn level acting,
their bad acting was actually good acting, because they had to really try to be that bad.
Right. And the movie's just beautiful to look at. I mean, she shot on film, actual film.
It's great,
and the colors pop so well. Yeah.
So I brought Stefan on because I feel that this was in his wheelhouse, and he's either going to love it or be the most critical person of it. So I definitely want his opinion on it.
Yeah, I was disappointed too. I think it had all as Eb said, it had all the right elements in place, but they didn't go anywhere with it, I think. I'm not quite sure what I think they made this movie. They created this look, and they thought that's enough. They patted on the back for it. It's just a piece of retro chic, and that's it. It's not a very interesting one. It's like a joke, and everybody's in on the joke, but we excluded. We excluded. Everyone in the movie is on the joke.
It was like a solid film school movie, I would say.
Probably.
It angered me though, because it should have been so much better, and I just that first 15 minutes is just like, man, this could kind of be really cool, and to go another hour and a half before like caring about what the hell's going on in it, like even to the point where it's like, yeah, this still looks good, but I kind of want to fast forward a bit to see what happens.
I didn't think it looked like film. I was very convinced this is digital.
Really?
I don't think it looked that great, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Especially the outdoor scenes looked lousy at times.
You don't think that was intentional?
In the beginning?
You don't think that's intentional?
Yeah, but it doesn't look like a 60s movie. It looks like it looks like the typical DTV production from today, I think. There was this softness, certain softness, graininess was missing in the outer scenes, especially the beginning on the highway.
Right. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think they did as best as that they could, given today's technology is so much better. For that, that's how I took it. Yeah.
I like that car driving. I like that car driving scene. I thought that was
like straight out of
really good. Yeah.
And not the back projection scene, but the other one when the policeman stops her, for example.
Oh.
I think the way it was captured, the sunlight and all. It just looked very new. This looked like very, very digital, very I don't know, soap opera-ish.
Oh, soft focus and all that. I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah, soap opera-ish. I don't know. Didn't look like film for me.
Well, our chat is saying we know who the Love Witch turned down for prom because Stefan is crapping on this film. No, it's.
Did anyone else get bothered when the cop ordered a turkey sandwich with avocado, mayonnaise, and mustard?
It's got these like weird moments that just make you say, "What the fuck were they even thinking of trying to do?" Like the whole sequence. I honestly I love the scene when they're in the tea place when they're drinking the fancy tea. I love that. I thought that was awesome. But then the witch just talks about like, you know, how her number one priority is like servicing my man, and then the British chick is like, what are you talking about? It was like you frame this great scene and then you put in this insipid dialogue that's just like, I wanted to mute it and just say, I don't care what you're saying. This is just a cool looking scene.
Well, the message of the movie was kind of like this: the witchcraft is just women being subservient to men until they can trap them into a relationship. Then, I guess, doing what they want with them. That was kind of the subtext of witchcraft to me.
I think gender
that this
roles,
creepy guy was teaching them.
Yeah,
you know.
I think this movie is trying to say a lot about gender roles and gender norms and things like that. I don't think
just fails.
Yeah, I think it does fail. Yeah, I don't think it
fails.
Yeah,
because there was no ending resolution to any of it. There was just
nope.
She like the three guys loved her, and she killed them, and then the one guy wouldn't love her, and she killed him too.
Well,
when they were. I was gonna ask, when they're in the bar and they're saying "burn the witch," did I realize that some guys were like pulling down their pants? Like, were they like when they're saying "burn the witch"? Were they gonna rape her first, then burn her?
That was just a weird thing. It was like, you're gonna burn her in the bar. It's like, how is that gonna work?
You don't want your pants to get wrinkled when you're burning witches. You got to put them up on the hooks.
I mean, like I said, if they're just making this movie to be a joke of movies like this back in the whatever it was 60s or 70s, again, they gave no real time period to this.
I think on the surface that is exactly what they did, but this isn't making fun of anything in particular. I don't think of that period just besides the surface. And I saw some critics saying that this is Russ Meyer style kitsch, and that's not true. It's just absurd.
That's not true.
What were you saying? It said like a 90-something Rotten Tomatoes score?
98, 97, 97.
I mean, did only 5 people review it? I mean,
a lot.
Well, we're reviewing it, but we're not on Rotten Tomatoes yet.
We gotta get it credited somehow.
We do. I mean, that's you know.
Well, Stefan,
more people subscribe.
Stefan is the Giotto and 70s horror expert. Is this really making fun of those movies of that time?
I don't really know. I mean, of horror movies, not really. When I saw the trailer, I felt reminded of those satanic movies.
Right, that's what I thought.
From the early 70s.
But it was more soft porn than horror.
Yeah.
Because there's, you got some softcore Cinemax movies that have this kind of stupid, killing shit. It wasn't like gory in this movie, really. No, there's no. The last scene, there's some blood, but there wasn't much, gore in this movie or anything like that.
No, but
just the witchcraft is even simple, which it's nothing like. It's bullshit. Candles and lying down on that mat thing that we saw in the trailer. It wasn't like anything deep or dark or anything like that.
No, but I thought, they play on the aesthetic maybe a little, but I don't think they did it very. The look was somewhat close to these movies, but I think they always used. I wouldn't have minded if they had some sequences in there, maybe something psychedelic or something else that everything looked the same. It was very relying on the production design. Stylistically, there wasn't really a lot of going on in this movie.
Honestly, the psychedelic scenes I think fell short in regards to what we perceive as these 60s or 70s psychedelic scenes, right? I think they attempted to pay homage to those, but they just felt
but it didn't
way
work at all,
short.
no.
Yeah, it just felt way short of what we're accustomed to, like Hausu, right? Like some of the psychedelic stuff in House. Just thinking of those great scenes of like, I want that shit to happen. I want more of that. And it's they like kind of limped into like, oh, I'm taking off my dress and I have these swirly colors inside. So I'm freaking out, and then that's the extent of it. It's like, come on, go full crazy here.
And she gave a pretty flat performance too. Like her character never changes really. She never kind of goes crazy.
I kind of like that.
But it's just like there was no.
Like
that she never gets dark or twisted. It's just like she has this monotone level to her throughout the movie.
I really dig that. I actually like that performance, and the quasi British chick. I kind of like the quote unquote evolution, if you will, of that character. After her husband kills himself. I don't know if she'd want to go out to tea with. I don't know, but
there was no time. There was no
in between.
They didn't really say how long. Yeah, so it was ridiculous.
But I kind of like that. She goes to the witch's house and she's dressing up as a witch and she's trying to get the. My wife just texted me, too many bananas. It's a good Hausu reference.
I'm gonna just throw this out there from left field.
Please do.
That first guy she hooks up with, the professor, and then they go out to the cabin in the woods.
Lapidus.
Didn't that look like Ash's car from Evil Dead? The old. Did anybody else catch that? I thought that was. I thought that was a nice little touch right there. If we're gonna,
did.
Yeah. And it's when he's sobbing, and he's the smart girls are always quite homely. I mean, that just made me laugh my ass off.
I love he gets her up to the cabin and is like, you know what I want to do right now? I want to make love right in this car. Like we're crazy teenagers. And she's like, okay. No, let's go in my house. Let me make you dinner first. Here's some steak. Yeah. And the dude's just rolling with it. Yeah. She's like, drink this. And it's just like, all right. But it goes from like, let's make love to like, I'm gonna eat some steak.
I mean, that's a good second option.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah. But like that, individual parts, I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the whole undertone of how easily manipulated, I guess, men are by just anything like simple. Like the one guy was saying, all you have to do is dance for them, and they'll do whatever you want.
Right.
Which she did with the other guy.
What's up?
Particularly clever or new or interesting, presented in a fun way. I don't think this movie was fun.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, and it should have been. It should have been a lot more fun.
I think it's one of those movies that pretends to be a lot of things but isn't. It's not a proper 60s homage, as we said. It's not a proper comment on. It's not a proper feminist twist on horror movies, as I read.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
It just claims to be, and I think there are many movies out there like that claim to be something very proud of their idea, but actually they don't fulfill it.
Well, that was like the last movie.
It's one of those.
I was about to say that, the one that Abe really liked.
That tried to make a commentary on the homelessness, but it was just kind of a stupid fucking movie.
Well, see, I never got that it was trying to make a commentary. I just thought it was just trying to be trash.
No, I think they were trying to.
They're really trying to make a commentary
on
how
to treat the homeless.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of over the top
and race too. It was like it was a race.
Yeah, it was hashtag synergy. It's called Parasites.
Yeah, I'll put that up there.
That's about 1 month ago.
If you guys want to watch a psychedelic 60s or modern day project that harkens back to the 60s, everybody go watch Danger 5. Danger 5 is an amazing TV show. Go watch that instead. Just saying that.
All right.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else to say. Like, yeah, this movie did not ever live up to its... it never quite got what it was trying to do.
I felt reminded of Barbarian Sound Studio. Have you heard of that?
I never saw it.
By Peter Strickland.
Yeah.
With Toby Jones. It was another movie that sounds really great about a guy who was a sound technician for horror movies, and he is sent to Italy to make the sound for an Italian horror movie, and gets a little like David Lynch-like, but was the same. It was very empty, very no substance, just relying on this retro atmosphere, but not really taking it anywhere. Not really. There's no real comment on this. And I felt very reminded of this. I think this is.
I think we're going to see this
kind
as a
of the
continued trend, though, right? We're going to see
Yes,
this as a continued trend of these homage type films that just keep falling short because they don't know what exactly they're trying to do.
No, Ty West made a career out of this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a good example actually. House of the Devil is a good example too.
Yes.
I think terrible movie. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why this is. I think it's like the directors really want you to know, how smart they are. They don't really delve into the meta. That's my problem with it. It's like they're always at the same time distancing themselves from the meta. They are
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
and it's terrible. Why? What for? I mean, that was the fun about those old movies. They had there was no distance. They just went into it. At least emulate this if you don't really mean it. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
And go back to the chat. Did the Love Witch have armpit hair? Not that I saw.
She did
But
not.
she had long flowing hair that might have covered up the armpit hair.
That's true.
We
She might have had
know
an
for
armpit wig.
All right, let's start closing out this show.
Marty killed it.
I think we've talked about this film enough today. Close out another episode of the Movies and Stuff show. Please subscribe to the video next to me.
There you go, in that area.
That way, somewhere over there. You can follow us on Twitter and on Facebook at Movie Stuff Show. We will be back next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, EDT, Central Time for Abe. We'll be back with brand new episodes.
Next week?
We don't have anything yet. I try to decide on episodes right before they come out. In 2 weeks, I think a couple weeks we're doing a roundtable of Ghost in the Shell. But next week we don't have anything planned yet. We'll probably try to do some kind of ranking or
We can talk Power Rangers.
Oh,
we'll try to do something. Stefan is one of the guys that oversees the supernuts.com. He does some writing and whatnot over there. Stefan, what do you got going on?
I'm continuing my child around art. Articles maybe published in the next days. I'm also doing a joint review of Sleepy Hollow with a guy who's maybe on the show soon. Stu.
Oh yeah.
We're definitely trying to do that.
Oh, are we gonna try to do a?
We're gonna try
debate show next week.
We're gonna try.
Is that it? Okay. So we might try to do a debate show next week.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We'll try to do something. But yeah, thesupernuts.com.
We just might have Marty narrate trailers next week.
I think that was
pretty good. Actually, that's it from now on.
Yeah.
Marty's narrating trailers every time we talk about a movie, especially one of these. I want to go back and do Parasites and what was that? What was that one that you Spectral? Right? You guys watched
Spectral.
Oh yeah.
when I was out on leave.
That was shit. We have not found the movie yet. We keep picking out these movies that no one really heard of, and we have yet to find you a gem. But we will keep looking.
I've had some luck with VODs in the past, but since we've done the show, not as much.
Can I say something? Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want a good example of how to do an homage, watch A Cure for Wellness.
I've heard
that was a very
really
clever way. Yeah, it's not as obviously an homage. It gets more and more clear over the course of the movie, but this is how you do it in a clever way.
I've heard that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really fun.
Also, it's Amazon pilot season again, so I've watched one of the pilots that are out there. So maybe we'll watch some of the pilots. We can talk about some of that in the upcoming weeks.
Crop, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll save it. Maybe we can talk about that. The last point I want to. Hap and Leonard is back on the Sundance Channel. If you don't watch Hap and Leonard, please get into that. It's a from the same guys that made Cold in July, which is like one of my recent favorite films in the last few years. Cold in July is a hell of a film. They do Happen Leonard, based off the Joe Lansdale books. Really, really cool show. This is season 2. Season 1's already on Netflix, so you can watch that and then catch up. It's on the Sundance Channel. So that's what I got. Anything else? Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Right.